Awesome. Rohan Patel, comic book movie. Hey, Damien, how are you?
Hey Rohan, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. I really enjoyed this. I was glued to my seat for like 90 minutes last night, so really well done. And so I was like kind of curious because I didn't initially, after talking to everyone, I kind of realized that the cabin, the lodge, was actually like a set. It wasn't like a on location shoot. So like, did you kind of rehearse everyone like it was almost a play, or how did that like whole process come to?
Yeah, I mean, I think if people start Googling Muir's Rest and trying to find out where it was, then we've done our work, done our job really well.
Hmm.
So one of the pleasures of the film was actually making the entire thing on this on a soundstage.
Yeah.
Nobody, I think, wanted to spend months shooting a movie on top of a mountain in a blizzard at night. So having that control was fantastic. And Gary Mackay, who was the production designer, designed this beautiful visitor center. We sat it in the parking lot. Everything was a completely practical set, so you could walk in and out of that building, which was built with timber. Had a roof on it. It existed as a building in the space, and I feel like that gave all of the cast this sense of reality. It wasn't just a kind of cardboard set, or you walked around the corner and everything kind of fell away. It actually felt like a real space. David, who plays Lars, referred to it as a kind of bloody snow globe,
Hmm.
and that's what it kind of felt like. It really felt like this special place where we could go and play, and yeah. So when we rehearsed with the cast, I tried to get them into the set and be rehearsing on set as much as I could in the weeks leading up to the shoot. Obviously, there was a lot of people trying to finish the build, so it wasn't always possible. But I remember we went in there on a weekend and we rehearsed a lot of the one of the stunt sequences towards the end of the film when everything kind of comes to a head. And that was great because it was I had some ideas about blocking and how that might work, but having the actors in the space with our stunt coordinator, John Costello, and just to be able to walk around, filming it for myself was fantastic because we made a lot of discoveries about, what would work and, how best to do it in that space.
Awesome. Yeah, and so like you mentioned, like it does get it's like a bloody slow. So it gets very very bloody. Like you lull people in, and then it's just like you suddenly get very like you kick it into high gear. So like with that like 90-minute runtime, like there's not a lot of time to waste. So like did you workshop any deleted like did you have many deleted scenes, or do you workshop anything that was like 5, 10, 15 minutes longer?
Um, no, I'm sure that the first cut of the film was a lot longer, but I don't think that there was anything that we ended up leaving on the cutting room floor that I miss. I think it was always like editing always is. It's this process of refinement to find the essence of the film, and it was always a pretty lean script. So, you know, um, yeah, what you're looking at is I think the best version of the film.
Yeah, awesome. And so, like, yeah, we'll get a little bit into spoilers, but I'll try to be as I'll make sure it's not spoiled for others. But so, like, I believe the book deviates in some way, like regard to like the final moments. So, like, with a little bit of ambiguity. And so, like, what kind of led you to choose the scene that you ultimately went with, or was it something that like just made more sense? 'Cause I think ultimately the version you took makes more sense than what I read about the book.
Yeah, I think that for the most part the film sticks pretty closely to the plot of the novel, and I
Hmm.
think where we made some changes, it was either because some things were suggested by elements that were already in the story, like the nail gun, for example,
Hmm.
and we thought that how can we make the most use or the best use of this as an idea, of this certainly is this idea that they're kind of improvising things, they're making stuff up as they're going along, and so some of those changes I think we made because we felt that that would be the most cinematic version of that story while staying true to the characters and their intent and the mood and the atmosphere of the original story.
And so, like, there's a lot of twists in movie that I won't get into, but ultimately, like, because you have almost like every act break is a different twist. So like, which twist did you ultimately figure was the most hard to kind of realize with like in your head, like, how am I going to make this the most effective? Because a lot of it's in dialogue, but a lot of it's
Mm.
just like you have to reveal, and then like that, you're kind of in a whole new, you like the whole movie flips it on its head, you know?
Yeah. So that was one of the things that really drew me to the story, was that, you know, it was a great suspenseful, edge of your seat thriller, but it also had this mystery and these twists, and those kind of twists and turns are not things that you necessarily see in this genre. So they were a big hook for me in wanting to make the film. I think that it was so much fun, and we put a lot of thought into how we were actually going to deliver those moments, because they come as a surprise to every character in the room,
Mhm.
pretty much, but
Yeah.
also to the audience. So really, it was about um, showing showing those reveals, if you like, from the point of view of Darby, who is trying to find out what's going on, and then and I think to make sure that we deliver not only the surprise but also the emotional impact, and I think that's why these reveals land, because you know we as an audience are invested in trying to work out the truth of the story, but we're also invested in these characters. You know, I think that we care, and that's why the film and those moments in particular have the impact that they do.
Yeah, no, there's something you do with one of the characters near the end that I was like, I I just kind of wish they made it out alive, but and I think you know who, but
Yeah.
so you primarily, I was reading through it, like I'm because I'm curious as a filmmaking buff, like
Hmm.
you've directed a lot of shorts, and like this is a full feature, and I think you directed one other, I think Killing Ground, right? And
Yeah.
so like what's the biggest difference that you find directing shorts versus directing this like 90-minute feature, or is your approach like relatively similar?
Well, I think that you know, shorts are a sprint and a feature film is a marathon. And I
Hmm.
think that the biggest difference is just the amount of time and energy and effort that you have to sustain through not only the shoot and the post production, but also in the years it takes to get these projects up and happening. So that's the real difference. In terms of what you're actually doing on set on the day, it's the same.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Damien. I really appreciate it. This has been real cool.
No, thank you, Ryan. It was a pleasure.
Awesome. Well, can't wait for people to see the film, but thank you. See you.